Let's start with problem 13-5. We'll just have the discussion. So the first question here is, how much is the net lease receivable? Okay. Basically, this is what we've been discussing class, wherein, if you'll recall, I've told you under direct financing lease, the income on the part of the lessor would just come from the difference between all that it will collect and the value of the asset. Okay, so total collectible minus the value of the asset, the difference would be the total income on the part of the lessor, which would be classified as an interest income. So if you'll be asked for the net lease receivable class, it's just the same as the cost of the asset. If the cost of the asset is not given, then you just get the present value of your lease payments. But in this case, the cost is given, so this would already be our net lease receivable. Okay, but if you've read the textbook, your net lease receivable would be the cost of the asset plus any initial direct cost paid by the lessor. But in this case, we do not have any initial direct cost. So our net investment on the lease would simply be the cost of 6 million. Okay. Next would be the gross investment. The gross investment would simply be everything that we expect to receive from the lease contract. And this will include the residual value. And just remember, if the asset will be returned to you, you will include the residual value whether guaranteed or not. Okay, and just remember, everything for your gross investment would be at their absolute amounts. Okay, no present values here. Okay, so just determine how much you would collect and how much you would get back. Okay, and in this problem, what do we expect to receive from the lessee? We expect to receive 1,750,000 for each year for how many years? 5 years. So 1,750,000 multiplied by 5, that will give you 8,750,000, but that is not the answer because we will have to include the residual value of 275. So the answer here would be 9,025,000. So basically, all in all, class, we would be able to collect throughout the lease term 9,025,000. But the cost to us, our net investment in the lease contract will just be the 6 million. So the difference between the two would serve as your total unearned interest income. So what will be the answer to question number 3? 3,025,000. And 3,025,000 is simply the difference between 9,025,000 and 6 million. Okay, and these are the 3 commonly asked questions for this topic. If the questions will just revolve around the commencement date. Okay, number 4 would be a question that will involve one period after the commencement date. So again, as I've told you, interest income is earned through passage of time. And it is the principal that will earn the interest class. So your interest income under the effective interest method would always be based on the principal or the present value of the receivable class, or in this case, the net investment. I hope you'll not get confused with the shift to the VALIX class. Basically, the terminologies are just what is changing. Okay? So in getting for your interest income, we will still be multiplying the implicit interest rate with the outstanding balance of the lease receivable. And in this case, your lease receivable should be the net amount, the present value. Okay, so we'll be using the net lease receivable. So again, how much was the initial net lease receivable class? 6 million. So it is the 6 million that will earn interest during the year. So you will have to multiply 6 million by the implicit rate of 15%. And your interest income then would be 900,000. Does anyone have a marker? Okay, so another possible question here, class, would be how much would be the net lease receivable at the end of the first year? Okay, the net lease receivable we have answered on number 1 is the balance as of January 1 or the commencement date. Another possible question here is how much would be the net lease receivable at the end of the first year? And here, guys, you will just have to prepare the amortization schedule. On year 0, the balance of the receivable is still 6 million. Net lease receivable. On year 1, what happened? We will receive payment of 1,750,000. And then we've computed that because of the balance of 600,000, we will have interest of 900,000. That means out of the 1,750,000 collection, 850 would be treated as a payment of the principal. So after the first year, the balance would be 5,150,000. Okay, so if you're asked how much is the net lease receivable at the end of the first year, your answer would be 5,150,000. And how did we get that, class? By preparing the amortization schedule. Alternative solution, class. Okay, you know that your receivable will be everything that you would be receiving from the lessee. Okay, but you would ask, why is the amount to be reported in the financial statement not simply the receivable? What do I mean? How much was our gross receivable, class? It was 9,025,000, correct? And then how much did we collect during the year? 1,750,000. How much is 9,025,000? 9,025,000 minus 1,750,000. How much na? 7 million? So again, the rule is the lease receivable should be reported at its net balance class or net of any unearned interest income. So another possible way of solving for your net lease receivable is by monitoring your gross receivable and deducting the unearned interest income. Okay. What was the initial unearned interest income, class? The answer to number 3. Plus the initial unearned interest income would simply be the total unearned interest income. So in this problem, total unearned interest income is 3,025,000. Okay, but that was at the start of the year. Okay, and will the unearned interest income after 1 year remain at 3,025,000? No, because a portion of it is already earned. Because again, interest is earned through passage of time. With a lapse of 1 year, a portion of the 3,025,000 will already be earned. And how much have we earned already? 900,000. So total unearned interest income at the start is 3,025,000. We've earned 900. Is it 3,025,000 plus? Minus 900, so the remaining would be 2,125,000. And this would give you your net lease receivable. And this is the amount that will be presented in your financial statements. 7,275,000 minus 2,125 will give you 5,150,000. So again, if you're asked how much is your net lease receivable at the end of the first year, your answer would be 5,150,000. How did we solve for it? First, by preparing the amortization schedule. Whatever is the updated balance of the principal receivable of the principal class, and that would be your net lease receivable. Alternative solution, and basically this is how Valix differs from Wigand class. Okay, Valix recognizes your unearned interest income account. Okay, while for Wigant, everything is recorded net already. But here, you record the gross receivable. You also recognize the unearned interest income. But ultimately, what will be reported would be the gross minus the unearned interest income. Okay, so when we answered number 3, class, how did we answer number 3? We determined the gross receivable and deducted the net investment. Okay, but normally, moving forward, what you should be doing is you would be looking for the moving balance of the gross receivable. You would update your unearned interest income for you to get your net lease receivable. So what's my point? Here in number 3, we needed that gross investment and net investment to get the unearned interest income. But in most cases, class, you would need the gross receivable and the unearned interest income to solve for the net receivable. I hope you see the difference. So answer number 3, we needed the gross investment and the net investment, the gross receivable and the net receivable to get the unearned interest income. But what will likely happen in most problems, class, is that instead of being given with the net receivable, you will be looking for the net receivable, and for you to solve for the net receivable, you would need the gross receivable and the unearned interest income. Okay? And for the sake of practice, class, we'll see this through until year 5. Let's proceed to year 2. Possible question for year 2, how much would be the interest income on year 2? Would it again be 900,000? No. Under the effective interest method, class, your interest income will not be equal every year because it will always be based on the previous balance, outstanding balance of the receivable. At the start of the second year or at the end of the first year, how much was the balance of the receivable, class? The net balance? 5,150,000. It is this 5,150,000 that will earn interest, class. So it is this 5,150,000 that will be multiplied by 15%. And how much is 5,150,000 times 15%? It is 772,500. Okay. So again, that's the first possible question for year 2. What else could be asked? How much would be the net lease receivable at the end of year 2? By completing the amortization schedule, class, how much should be the balance of your net lease receivable? 4 million. 4 million. I have 172. 4,172,500. Who else got 4,172,500? Okay. How did we get 4,172,500? Interest income. Interest income on year 2 is, how much was it? 772,500. How much collection will happen in year 2? Still 1,750. Apportion between principal and interest. 1,750 minus 772. This will give you how much? 977,500. And this is the amount that would be deducted from your net receivable. Okay, how much is 5,150 minus 977,500? 4,172,500. Now, I want you to use our alternative solution, class. Okay? This one is more straightforward, but you will have to update the 2 things we need. What are the 2 things we need to solve for the net lease receivable without using the amortization schedule, class? You need your gross receivable and your unearned interest income. Okay, but how much do you think is the balance of your gross receivable after year 2? Will it remain at 7,275,000? No, because you have made additional collection. How much did we collect in year 2, class? Again, 1,750,000. So how much then would be your gross receivable after year 2? 7,275 minus 1,750. 5 million. 550. 525. 5525. Okay. Next, what else do we need? We need your unearned interest income. Do we expect our unearned interest income to remain at 2,125,000? No, because a portion of this would already be earned by the second year. Okay, but again, it's not straight line. You will have to determine how much we have earned in the second year. In the second year, we have earned 772,500. How much is 2125 minus 772,500 plus? 1 million. So this is the remaining amount which we have not yet earned. When are we going to earn this remaining 135,500? We will earn this in year 3, 4, and 5. Okay? But at this point, the balance of your unearned interest income is 135,500. And how much is 552500 minus 135,500? Hopefully, it would coincide. 4, 7, 2, 500. They should be the same. Okay, so again, if you're asked, how much is the net lease receivable on year 2, your answer would be 4,172,500. Okay. So very quickly lang, using the amortization schedule class, from the previous balance of 5,150,000, we multiplied it by 15% to get the interest income for year 2. And considering that we have received a payment of 1,750,000, and we know that 772,500 is payment for interest, the residual will be payment for the principal. And the residual amount is 977,500 to be deducted from your 5,150,000 to give you a balance of 4,172,500. Next would be our alternative solution. Okay, class, this again, this appears very straightforward, class. Okay, you only need 2 things, but the challenge here is that you will have to update these amounts. Okay, last year the gross receivable was 7,275. After a collection of 1,750, the gross receivable will be 5,525. Then the other thing we need would be the unearned interest income. Unearned interest income after the first year was 2,125,000. Considering that we have earned 772,500 on the second year, the remaining unearned interest income would be 1,352,500. Okay, your gross receivable of 5,525 minus the remaining unearned interest income of 1,352,500, you will again get the net lease receivable of 4,172,500. Okay, and this is what will now appear in your financial statements, class. The gross receivable of 5,525 less the unearned interest income of 4,172,500. Okay, let's proceed to year 3. Okay, and so that you would not be dependent on this one, let's try solving for year 3 using our alternative solution. Okay, compute for the net lease receivable at the end of the 3rd year. Use this one, class. First, what's the first thing we need? We need our gross lease receivable. If the previous balance, class, was the previous gross receivable was 5,525, do we expect it to remain the same after the 3rd year? No, we expect it to reduce by the amount of payment that we will receive, which was 1,750,000. How much is 5,525 minus 1,750,000? 3,775,000. And what else do we need? We need your unearned interest income. Okay, do we expect the unearned interest income at the end of the 3rd year to remain at 1,352,500? No, it should be reduced by the amount of interest earned during the year. So you will have to compute one thing here first. You need to compute the amount of interest we have earned during the third year. And what would be the basis of the interest? It would be the previous balance of the net lease receivable. How much was the net lease receivable at the start of the third year or at the end of the second year? 4,172,500. And it is the 4,172,500 that will earn interest of 15%. How much is 15% of 4,172,500 class? How much? Why do I have a different amount? How much do you have, class? I have 625,875. Why did I hear some other amount? 625,875. That's 15% of 4,172,500. Meaning, if the unearned interest income at the start of the third year was 135,500 and during the year you have earned 625,875, how much would be the remaining unearned interest income after the third year? It would be 726,625, 726,625. And now we have everything we need to solve for your net lease receivable. Gross lease receivable of 3,775, and then minus the remaining unearned interest income of 726,625. Your net lease receivable would be 3,048,375. You have the same amount, 3,048,375. Let's come up with that amount using the amortization schedule, class. As for year 3, payment is still 1,750,000. Next, interest income. How much was the interest income again? Interest income was 625,875. That means the principal component is 1,124, 1,125. And this is the amount that will be deducted from 4,172,500. Please input that in your calculators. 4,172,500 minus 1,124,125. 3,048,375. So what is the question, class, in which the answer is 3,048,375? Net lease receivable at the end of year 3. What is the question wherein the answer is 625,875? Interest income for year 3. Okay, do year 4, class. Okay, let's start with interest income. How much will be the interest income on year 4? Again, you just base it on the previous year's ending balance. How much is the ending balance of our net lease receivable on year 3? 3,048,375. And that is the amount that will earn an interest of 15%. How much is 3,048,375 times 15%? Rounded off to the nearest ones place. 457,256. That would be your interest income on year 4. Okay, now solve for the net lease receivable at the end of year 4, class. How much is the net lease receivable at the end of year 4? Okay, 1,755,631. Okay, class, the challenging portion here really is on the subsequent periods. That's why we're trying to practice. If you look at the problems, most of the questions are on the commencement date, and that is not where the challenge will be. It would always be on the subsequent date. Okay, so how did you solve for 1,755,631? Which one should we do first? The alternative solution or the amortization schedule? Which one did you use? Amortization. Okay, year 4, still 1,750,000, but the interest income was how much, class? Interest income is 457,256. That means the principal component is 1292, 744. And then this will give us the 1,755,631. Using the alternative solution, class. Gross receivable after the third year was 3 after the third year, class, 3,775. And because we received payment of 1,750,000, the gross receivable after year 4 is 2,025,000. Next, determine the remaining unearned interest income. Unearned interest income at the end of the third year was 726,625. And since you have earned 457,256 on year 4, the remaining unearned interest income would be 269,369. And 2,025,000 minus 269,369 should give you your 1,755,631. Okay. Now, class, this is where you have, there's something new for you to take away, class. If you are on the last year, class, especially if your net investment was based on an amount that is already given, meaning your initial net investment is not based on the present value. If it's based on a cost given, just like in this problem, you're given the 6 million, it's possible that there will be rounding off errors, class. Okay? So what do you have to make sure? What do you have to make sure on the 5th year, class, on the last year? That by the 5th year, class, the amount of interest income that you will recognize should be the total remaining unearned interest income. So that by the end of the last year, your unearned interest income would be 0. What do I mean? How much was the remaining unearned interest income on year 4? It was 269,369. Okay? So you should make it a point, class, that by the end of the 5th year, your unearned interest income would be 0. Okay? So that should be the amount of interest income that you will recognize on year 5. Why am I emphasizing that one? Because if you continue to follow this one, what would you have done to compute for the interest income on year 5? You would have multiplied 1,755,631 by 15%. And how much would 1,755,631 give you, class? 200, 263,345. And if you use that one, class, the accounts will not be closed. Your unearned interest income will not be fully closed. You will not be able to fully amortize your receivable. So be careful in the last year, especially if your principal balance or your net investment is based on an amount that is outright given. Okay? So, again, what do I want you to do? Instead of, was it 263, class? If you multiply this one by 15%, Did you say 263? Instead of 263, just make sure to adopt whatever is the remaining unearned interest income. So that means it is, how much was the remaining unearned interest income on the fourth year? 269. So the amount of interest income on the fifth year should be this amount to fully close the unearned interest income account. Okay? This is just mainly because of rounding off errors. Okay? 1,750,000 minus 269,369. Help me here. 1,750,000 minus 269,369. That will be 1,480. 1,480. 631. Again, the last line would have been very different, class, if you still use this one and multiplied it by 15%. Okay, you would not have fully amortized your receivable. With this one, how much would be left? 1,755,631 minus 1,480,631. And is the 275,000 familiar, class? That is the residual value. So that after the payment of 1,750,000, the balance of your receivable would be 275. And how much? And how are we going to close the receivable account? When the asset is returned, you will now recognize the remaining 275,000. And you would not have achieved that, class, if you insisted on multiplying 1,755,631 by 15%. Okay? And moving on to our alternative solution, class. How much was our gross receivable after the fourth year, class? Gross receivable after the fourth year, 2,025,000. And then, how much was the unearned interest in minus 1,750,000? How much is 2,025,000 minus 1,750,000? You will have 275,000. Next, unearned interest income. How much was the unearned interest income after the fourth year? 269,369. What are we going to deduct from this 269,369? The amount of interest earned on the fifth year. And again, what did we say? The amount that you will recognize in the last year should be everything that was left the prior year. So 269,369 minus our interest income of 269,369, your remaining unearned interest income would be 0. Make it a point that the unearned interest income at the end of the last year would be 0. Do you follow? So 275 minus 0, the balance would still be 275. But once the asset is returned, recognize the asset, and then they recognize the remaining 275,000 receivable. Okay? So what would be tricky here if you're asked for interest income on year 5? Okay, what should be our answer if you're asked for interest income on year 5? Your answer should be 269,369. The other years, class, are not tricky. It's just that the procedure is quite long, class. Okay? Then you would think, why was it very easy to answer number 1, 2, 3, and 4 in this problem? Because it was just on the first year. To answer the second year, you need to answer year 1 first. To answer year 3, you need year 2 first. And for you to have the year 2, you must have year 1. To answer year 4, you need year 3, which needs year 2, which needs year 1. Okay? So what this problem, 12 possible questions. But of course, if your year 1 is wrong, everything would be wrong. Let's proceed to problem 13-6. And I think this will be the last problem we would be able to solve for today. Class, basically the questions are the same, class, ha? Here, the lease is also for 5 years, and then you have a guaranteed receivable value in the amount of 1,200,000. Lease payments are 1 million. Then you are given with the PV factors. The first question, let's answer number 2 first. Question number 2 is how much is the gross investment, or simply how much is your gross receivable? Again, this is all the lease payments plus residual value, whether guaranteed or not. Okay. So, how much payments are we going to receive every year? 1 million, and for how many years? 5. So 1 million times 5, you will have 5 million. And aside from that one, we would also get the guaranteed residual value of 1,200,000. So our gross investment would be 6,200,000. Now, going back to number 1, how did we answer net lease receivable in the previous problem? Was it net lease receivable also, or net investment? Net lease receivable. How did we answer it in the previous problem? Simply the cost. Okay, but did we have the cost here? No. Okay, so basically, the implicit rate is the rate that would make the gross investment equal to the net investment, or the total receivable and the cost of the asset, or the fair value of the asset. So here, to get our initial net lease receivable class, you would have to get the present value of your payments class, or your receivables. Okay, so what are we going to do? Get the present value of the 1 millions. How do you get, what factor should you use to solve for a periodic payment class? You use annuity. What kind of annuity? Ordinary annuity, because the payments happen one period after the commencement class. Okay? To get the present value of the what do you call this one? Rentals class. What factor are you going to use? You're going to use the lump sum. Okay? For a period of 5 years, because the residual value will be received at the end of the lease term. So 3.79 times 1 million plus the present value of the residual value. How much is 1,200,000 times 0.62 class? How much? So 744 plus 3,790,000 class will give you how much? 4,500,000. And that will be our answer class. Okay. Okay, that would be our initial net lease receivable. Okay, and since we have our gross investment, our gross receivable, and we also have our net lease receivable, for the commencement date, we can now figure out how much total interest we can earn throughout the lease term. Okay, and the amount of interest we can earn throughout the lease term is basically your total unearned interest income. And how do we get your total unearned interest income? The difference between gross investment and net investment, or the gross investment and your net lease receivable. Gross investment again was 6,200,000. Net lease receivable is 4,534. How much is the difference between the two? 1,666,000. Okay, so 6,200,000 minus 1,666 will still give you 4,534. Okay, and what's question number 4? What is the interest income, and what would be the basis of our interest income? The initial net lease receivable multiplied by the implicit interest rate of 10%. So 4,534 multiplied by 10%, obviously your interest income for the first year would be 453,400. But again, what would be other possible questions that can be asked here? How much would be the net lease receivable on December 31, 2024? Which one do you prefer to use? Let's start with the amortization. Sorry. Let's can we go back lang sa can we go back to problem 13-5 class? I just want to highlight something. Class, please add all the interest payments on the table, class. And is 3,025,000 familiar class? Yes, that is your total and earned interest income. Because again, that is basically what we are doing. We are trying to apportion the total interest that we will be earning in this contract throughout the lease term. Okay? If we had not been using the effective interest method, if we use straight line, this would have been very easy. 3,025,000 divided by 5. But again, we must use the effective interest method. Okay, let's go back to problem 13-6. What was the question I asked? How much is the net lease receivable at the end of the first year? How much was the initial balance, class? Was it 4534? Initial balance is 45. And then periodic payment is 1 million. Interest income for the first year was 453. That means the principal payment would be 546. Am I correct? 546, 600. And what do we do with the 546, 600? Deduct it from 4534. How much was that? Deduct the 456. Not 456. Deduct the 546, 600 from 4534. You would get 3,987,000. And that will already be your net lease receivable on year one. Let's use our alternative solution. On year 0, gross receivable was it 62? And then this one was, this was 4534. Yeah? Am I correct? 4534. And this one is, now in year 1, will your gross receivable remain at 6,200,000? No, because you will receive a payment of, so what the balance now would be 5,200,000. Now for your unearned interest income, will it remain at 1,666,000? No, because a portion of it has already been earned. Particularly how much? 453,400. Deduct 453,400 from 1,666,000. 1666 minus 1666 minus 453,400. 1 million. And how much is 5,200,000 minus 1,212,600? Just let it come out in your calculator. Do not just follow the amount here. Okay, so alternative solution for the net lease receivable would be 5,200,000 minus 1,212,600 will give you 3,987,400. Okay, so what questions have you answered already? How much is the interest income for year 1? It was 453,400. How much is the net lease receivable at the end of the first year? It's 3,987,400. Next year, year 2. First question, how much will be the interest income? $398,740. How did we get that one? The remaining balance of net lease receivable of 3,987,400 multiplied by 10%, you would get 398,740. Okay, and the next question would be how much is the net lease receivable? How much is your net lease receivable after the end of the second year? 3,386,140. That is 3,987,400 minus the principal component of our 1 million collection of 601,260. Alternative solution class. How much is the gross lease receivable after the second year? How much was it on year 1 class? 5.2. So now it will be 4,200,000. And then for your unearned interest income, it was 1,212,600 minus the interest income of 398,740. So the remaining unearned interest income after year 2 would be 813,860. And 4,200,000 minus 813,860 will give you 3,386,140. Class, you need to know these two alternative solutions because depending on what is given in the problem, only one can be used. So if you're overly reliant on one solution, if that solution is not viable, class, then you will not have any other option. You will end up guessing. So it's important to know these two alternative solutions. Next. What will be the next question? Again, it will be interest income for year 3. And since we're using 10%, very easy for us to solve. It would be 338,614. And the next question is, how much will be the balance of the net lease receivable at the end of year 3? So deduct the 338,614 from the 1 million payment or collection in year 3. That means the principal component would be 661,386. And deduct that amount from the previous balance of 338,614. The balance of your lease receivable net of unearned interest income would be 2,724,754. So I noticed earlier that you preferred the alternative solution, but once you practice on the second class, it's a lot simpler. So let's solve for, was it 2724? Let's solve for 2724, 754 by using the alternative solution. How much will be the gross lease receivable? It will now be 3,200,000. And then the unearned interest income from 813,860, deduct the interest income of 338,614, you will have 475,246. And deduct 475,246 from 3,200,000, you will have 2,724,754. Okay. Year 4 class. Next. First question, interest income. 272,475. It's just a matter of moving the decimal class. Next question, lease receivable at the end of year 4. 1,997,229. How did you get that one? By deducting 727,525 from the previous balance of 2,724,754. Where did we get the 727,525? It is the difference between the 1 million collection and the interest income on year 4 of 272,475. Alternative solution class. Gross lease receivable after the 4th year, how much? 2,200,000. And then updated and earned interest income. Last year it was 475,246 minus the interest income of 272,475. Is it exactly 202,771? Just 475,246 minus 272,475. Is it 202,771? Is it 202,771? Okay. Now, 2,200,000 minus 202,771, that will give you 1,997,229. For the fifth year, di ba, I told you to be careful if it's the last year class. But let's try to check, class. There will still be a difference, correct? 1,997,229 times 10% will just give you 199,000. Okay, but what should we do? Make sure to fully exhaust your unearned interest income. So how much should you be reporting on year 5? Should it be 199,723? No, it should be 202,771. So how much will be the balance of your net lease receivable? It will just be the 1,200,000. Is the 1,200,000 familiar? Yes, that is the residual value. But after the return, kasi your receivable should be zero already. So again, interest income for year 5, our answer is 202,771. Okay. Now, just a reminder, class. Why does it appear easy right now, class? Okay, we're doing it chronologically, man. But understand, class, in the examination, the problem can immediately ask you for year 4. Okay, it will not ask you year 1, 2, 3, and 4. It could just ask one question and it will immediately ask for year 3 or year 4. And because the process is long, many students would find it difficult. Okay, but again, it's very procedural, class. It's just a matter of practice.